Hello everybody, I am going to be doing a video series on showing you how to do each zone and level of the original release of Sonic CD. I made this guide assuming that you're playing the original Sega CD version of this game, so if you aren't, then pretty likely strats here and there might change or be different. Like, for example, I know how if you're playing Sonic CD on the Gems collection, then you can't do like MPOs or moving payloads like whatsoever, so that like actually makes you lose a bunch of time. And I'll explain what a moving payload is when I boot up the first level of the game. So yeah, let's begin. So what you basically want to do here is that you have the menu right here. There's a new game option. That's what you select when you're doing like new runs for the game. Continue is only if you just want to go back to like the current zone you're on from like a reset, like just practicing stuff, not necessarily going back to a level that you messed up on. And then there's time attack zone. As useful as this the time attack in this game might be, it's actually like pretty bad because there's a function called quick resetting where it allows you to like pause the game and then you do an input combo, which lets you like quickly reset the level. And when it happens, when the level boots back up, the screen that tells you like the zone and act you're on does not like show up, and you can take control of Sonic instantly. That's not really something you can take advantage of in time attack, because if you were to do that, then you just go back to like the main menu or the time attack menu. So levels like Metallic 2, it's just much better to not do it in time attack, and you just play through the entire game through like the new game option, and then you just work your way towards Metallic Madness 2. And then also when you're doing quick resetting as well, or at least in time attack, if you press like any of the jump buttons while the game is paused, then the quick reset will initiate. So that basically makes trying to do like precise strats, like using pausing to make them easier, more doable. If you're having to do like jump inputs out of a pause, then like time attack just makes doing those kind of things like actually like really difficult. So that's another reason why you should try to just like practice everything through the new game option. It'll just save you like quite some time and like headaches as well. So I would recommend like practicing this game at first on an emulator like RetroArch or Fusion, but personally I prefer RetroArch because the input delay isn't as bad, and it's a bit more customizable, and it gives you like a bunch of save states, like hundreds of save states compared to like just the 10 that Fusion gives you. So do whatever you prefer. But yeah, don't use time attack. It's not really that good. And now with that, I'll start the game. So before I actually explain like the Planetary Panic Zone in general, there's a few things that I want to like say as an introduction for this guide, and that's the first thing that I want to say is that this game, compared to the other classics, or compared to the other classic games, has a unique mechanic, which is the peel out, as many of you would very likely know. However, there is a very interesting sub mechanic that is a part of this peel out, which it's a glitch that hasn't been discovered for a good number of years until at some point when Burton discovered it. I can't exactly remember the date, but basically what it allows you to do is go through a lot of walls in the game, and the reason why that happens is because say I'll do it right now, it's the game just puts you in a different state, or it's in a different state where if you're in a peel out, then collision checks aren't active. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it's something like that. And then if you're able to be able to move while you're in this peel out state that the game recognizes you're in, then you can go through all these walls. So I'm gonna go up this slope here, and I'll show what that looks like. So if I do a moving peel out here, I'll go through this wall to my left. Yeah, you see that? So in this normal state, you can't go through walls at all, but in the moving peel out, you can, like that. So yeah, that's gonna be a mechanic you'll be using a bunch in this category. So I'll explain this more in detail, in levels that actually use the MPO to save time, but basically I can explain the basic gist of it. So you want to charge your peel out as normal, like that, and then you pause, and then you want to hold, because I'm facing to the right and I'll be moving to the right, so I want to hold down right, and then I can unpause, and then I quickly pause, and then now you're moving while Sonic is crouched down, and now the last step you do is that you hold the up button or the up left, like that. So you might notice how when I just held up, Sonic just kind of goes to the edge of this platform, and he'll actually teeter as well. So he'll do something like this. Or let me find a platform that actually lets Sonic teeter. So like that. Sonic will, or when you're just holding up for the last input here, Sonic will teeter like that. Or sometimes it will do that, but yeah, I'll be explaining this a bit more later. And now the second thing I want to talk about is that just like Sonic 1 and 2, there's a speed cap mechanic in this game. So when you're going about through levels pretty fast, you want to be mindful of where you want to be holding right and when you don't, which is basically if you're in the air going at a fast speed, then you should release the right input or left, whichever direction you're heading towards, so you don't lose your speed like this. Yeah, that's what will happen. So instead, just do it like this. Just don't hold right when you're in midair, or you could just hold right for a bit when you're on this platform, and then when you're about to go in the air, release it like that. And I'll be talking more about where to do all that stuff, of where you should be mindful in later levels. Alright, so now the third thing I want to talk about, there's quite a few things to mention. Let me go back to the beginning here. So it takes about exactly 0.5 seconds of your first input of holding Well, you hold up to like look up, and then you press like any of the jump buttons to make Sonic like enter his peel out state. And starting from the first frame of when you see Sonic charging his peel out, it takes about just about like 0.56 seconds on the IGT timer for Sonic to have his peel out fully charged like that. So that's just like a thing to keep in mind for when like later on you get more comfortable with the routes and strats in the game, and then you can go about optimizing your peel outs a bit more. So yeah. Alright, next thing. Oh, also, with the moving peel out too, or whenever you just do a peel out in general, sometimes like you might accidentally find yourself like doing this by accident. Like you'll look up and Sonic just refuses to peel out, and that occurs when you tap like the up button in a rather like rapid fashion more than once, like this. That's enough to make it trigger. So be mindful of when you're in spots where you're about to do a peel out, that you don't like accidentally tap like the up input at all until like the moment when you actually do a peel out for whatever you're doing. And then the fifth thing to mention, when you're doing like level wraps in the game, and then you're moving to the left to do them, sometimes it's like if your margin of error is way too high with doing the level wrap. So yeah, let me go to like a level that has it. Like a level wrap that where you just move to the left super fast. There's one Metallic one, so when I get there, yeah. So when you're moving super fast to the left, you'll notice that there's like something that goes on with the game screen, which is, I'll show right here. So you'll notice how the screen shakes like crazy, right? When I do this level wrap here, or the zip out. So when you learn these level wraps later on, you want to be sure that you're like doing these as closely correct as possible. Otherwise, yeah, if you're way too far off, the camera shaking along with like having too much speed or just not doing things right, it'll result in the game crashing. So just keep that in mind when you're learning Collision 1, which that's the first level to have like a level wrap that's viable, and then this level wrap in Metallic 1 if you decide to learn it later on. Alright, yeah, let's see here. So I already explained a quick resetting. So about like the guide itself, like I have a document that I made alongside this video series that I didn't mention this the first time, but I've been working on this like quite extensively with other CD93 members such as Joey Baby, 69, Shore, and then Crab. Crab is a relatively new CD like runner, but he's pretty good at like doing a lot of the strats and all the precise ones as well, so they've been a huge help. So this guide, this video series will be divided, which basically means that I'll be covering 3 zones of the game. I'll be covering this zone, Palm Tree. I'll be covering Wacky Workbench, which I feel like Wacky is like, or is easily the most like complex zone in the run, so I feel like it's just best if I go about explaining it, because there's like a lot of things that I found out about it that would be like pretty hard to like remember and explain, and that just comes as a result of me pouring a bunch of time into it. So that, and then the third zone is Metallic Madness. That's what I would also say is easily one of the more complex zones in the game. And then Joey Baby 69, he'll be covering Quartz Quadrants and I believe Tidal Tempest. And then Shore will be covering Collision Chaos and Stardust Speedway. But if when the video series is done and this isn't accurate, then you could just assume that things happened and we had to go about changing the order of stuff. I'll be sure though that in the title of these videos and then the description as well at the beginning, that I'll know who like did these zones or the levels that are covered, because there might be some sort of like division that occurs where, like, say like maybe Stardust Shore isn't able to cover the whole zone, so I talk about the first two and then he covers like the last one. That might happen, but it's not likely, and that's just what you are. Just keep that in mind for when you're watching through this video series and you're reading the document. Then also on the document I created, I listed times that I thought would be like considered like pretty good, or assuming that everything goes right for the stuff that I explained here and in the document. There are times that you should aim for getting. So for example, this level, I say that if you go for like the beginner or the general route, then you save about, or no, you would get like a low 22 or to a low 23. But if you get everything right and you're doing like the advanced strat of the level, then you would get like a high 21 or a low 22. So don't take like what I like state super seriously with like the optimal times, because it'll be quite a bit before you get comfortable doing all the strats, and maybe you can't quite do everything. So yeah, that's why I just treat it as just some rather, I guess, vague like point of view with optimal times. And then also, not every strat and optimization that is going to be discussed in this video series, it would take like a really long time for me to do that. And also on the document as well, I try to make it like as readable as possible. It's a rather long document, but I can say that the document is like really thorough with like all the stuff that you should know and keep in mind for when you're learning this game. So for those like really optimal strats, or even like strats that are considered unviable at the moment and they still need to be looked into more, then that's where I would say, like, feel free to join the Classic Sonic speedrunning community Discord server. There's a few CD93 channels in there that you can go into and then ask questions and all that, and I'll be there or it'll be like someone else, and yeah, they'll be able to help you out. And then for my text document, I have like quite a lot of images that like show cues and frame windows that you should keep in mind. However, not all of the images are the same size, so when you're reading through the document and like the images are too small, then that's where you can just like zoom in to the page and hopefully you'll be able to actually discern like what it is that I'm talking about in the document. And then there's also text formatting that I use for the document, but you could just read like the beginning of the document for that just to know what it is. But they're basically just like good reference points. Like they're not 100% completely accurate, but yeah, I use like a good amount of text formatting to make the document as readable and understandable as possible. Like I didn't want to have all of my text be black. I wanted essential parts to be like in a red text color, and then like slightly less important things to be in a blue like text color. So hopefully that really helps you out as you're reading through it and you're using this video series as like a good like visual reference point and all that stuff. And then lastly, if you have like any sorts of questions that you want to ask, once again, I stated this before, but feel free to join the Classic Sonic Speedrunning Community Discord, or feel free to DM me through like either like my Twitter or my Discord DMs. I have like both open, so don't worry about me having like neither open or I just don't have stuff updated. I'll always be updated on whether if I change any of that stuff. So yeah, that's basically the introduction of this tutorial series. And then in the next video I'll actually start talking about how to do Palm Tree Panic. So thanks for watching this introduction, and I really hope that you have a fun time learning this game. It's a really fun speed game, and I feel like it just really deserves more like reputation and people looking at it. It's just been like such an underlooked game that still has a lot of potential to be like even better and faster. So yeah. All right. And on that note, though, take care, everyone. Goodbye.